My movie.
Okay, this is my first vlog, and it is going to be about my breakdown. My last breakdown was in 2013 when I left Friedman Place and came to Albany Care. My recent breakdown happened December 17th, 2017, and yes, it is now September 17th, so 9 months to the day. And it took me through the end of my stay at Albany Care to being here at Clayton House. So, I'm hoping I can get through this before I have to go get medication, but I'm not sure, and I don't know how to pause this. Is there a way to pause?
Ribbon property help button ribbon help button ribbon button web stop cancel record stop button stop record.
No, it just says cancel and stop. Okay, so so if I need to stop, I will do a part 2. But so part 1, as people knew from seeing my fundraiser videos, which thank you so much again for the help with that a year ago in August. I did really well. I loved going to Massachusetts, seeing my family again, meeting people who I really like. And I really was into moving. I really wanted to move back to Massachusetts now. So I decided to I kind of went crazy on it. I was really frantic. I put stuff up on Craigslist and people were freaking out. More so my parents that don't understand the internet. They're like, oh my god. I'm like, it doesn't mean that someone's gonna stalk me to Chicago if I just put up a thing. You have an anonymous email on there and it's not gonna kill me to put a thing up. But people were worried because they were like, what are you doing? And everything else. And they, I got into the place and I'd never been in this place before in my mind where I was like, you know what? I think I'm stable enough and Jess is stable enough that we can live on our own. With another roommate, we wouldn't want to live just by ourselves because I think we'd kill each other with sisterly fighting and everything else, driving each other crazy and triggering each other. But we think we'd be good with another roommate. And we felt pretty much ready. I mean, and I had never felt like that. I've always been well, I would be most comfortable at a place like an assisted living community place. I thought I'd stay at Friedman forever, for as long as I thought. And I don't mind living in a facility so much, as long as you have some freedoms, and you trade some things for other things, But I had stopped, because it made me so anxious to think about being on my own or with a roommate, and I felt this pressure I had to feel that, I had to want to do that if I was any kind of adult, and whatever. But I finally put aside that everyone is different, everyone has different needs and struggles, and I could still be a functional person if I didn't live on my own. So I wasn't even considering it, but then it just came into my head after everything, and we had done the trip so well, and just everything that we had worked together and has such a strong relationship over the past few years that it's you know what, we could probably do this, working together. But so I was just going nuts with it, and I'm I have to do this. I want to move so bad, and everything else like that. And I had no plan on it. And so eventually, Jess and my friends gave me huge lectures. My sister gave me a huge lecture when I wanted to stay in Mass and go live in a shelter and not go back to Chicago. My dad gave me a huge lecture about, I don't believe you can do it and everything else, and you need to be safe. And so I was okay, I'll put that aside for now. And during all this time, Jonathan, who was my therapist at Albany Care, wasn't seeing me because he was dealing with administration stuff. He was dealing with being promoted to CEO of this place and dealing with the transition to specialized mental health rehabilitation facility. So just a lot of admin stuff and a lot of things that he was doing. And because the facility is set up with only 3 people in the higher up jobs, it really threw everything out of whack. But so he didn't see me from the day that he took me to the airport to, I think, December 12th or something that week. But anyway, so I was dealing with all of this by myself, up and roller coaster of trying to move, or wanting to move, and all that. I had all that up and down. And then in October, I got kind of depressed because I wasn't seeing Jonathan, and it was this winter time, and the psychiatrist I had was really crap, and I had to tell her how to increase my Lamictal, and it's kind of like, do you know how to be a psychiatrist or not? So that was stupid. And then, I got through November, and so finally December came around, and Jess and I decided, let's take this one step at a time. We're both doing really good, but my parents are not in a position to support us moving back. They were selling their house. They were going to be living in a condo, and my mom had a lot of health issues and things to do. So there was no way that we could move until we had at least their support as a fallback plan. So we were like, okay, well, we're getting sick of this place. Why don't we look for another place, a smaller place? And the only smaller place was this place, Clayton, with 200 people, and then there's Margaret Manor that has 99. All the other ones are very big. And so Clayton, I had been emailing back and forth with the director over the years, being like, I want to see this place, I'm tired of Albany, and then I changed my mind. So finally, we set up a tour, and we went to their holiday party, and we loved it. There was art therapists, music therapists, really kind people, and really kind community there. So the week of that, our actual tour, not the art thing, but the actual tour we had, that Tuesday I finally dragged Jonathan, he finally sat down for a half hour to meet with me. And we had one of our usual discussions about, you have been wicked inconsistent, this is horrible, I can't handle having a therapist that's inconsistent, what are we doing? And apparently he thought that I wasn't looking for therapy with him anymore because I had been considering seeing another therapist at the hospital down the street, because he had heard from my caseworker that that's what was going to happen. That actually wasn't true. I was just considering it. He thought I was all signed up with her and everything else. So he was like, I thought you were signed up with this person and that was it. And I was like, no, I have been waiting, and I sent him emails, phone messages, everything saying what was going on. So I think it was an excuse for him. I think he makes a lot of excuses, and I think that he needs to put that behavior into perspective if he's going to be a CEO, because people will leave if he acts that way and isn't accountable for what he is doing. But anyways, so I said, I want to move out, with Jess, and I want to talk to you about it, and I want it to be a good transition. So he said, okay, that's great. We can meet Friday, and we'll set up a consistent meeting every week and do that, about moving, and that's fine. So I was like, okay. So that Friday, so then that was on a Tuesday, and then I think Wednesday or Thursday, I was having this really weird anxiety, and it felt really different from anything I'd ever experienced before. And I'd been handling like I said, I had the depression, I got put on the Lamictal change, that was good. And then and I hadn't had a lot of anxiety. I kept myself going with a lot of different things, and I tried to keep myself looking on the bright side and not, dwelling on emotions, which is kind of how I work with things when I don't have a lot of outside support. I do know how to cope and depend on myself and get through things. So that's what I was doing. I didn't think I was having any problems, really. And I felt pretty stable, like I said. But after that meeting with him, that Wednesday and Thursday, I felt really weird. So I wrote him eventually, and I said, I'm having this weird anxiety. I don't know how to explain it. And as I was writing it, my hands felt like they were detached at the wrist. And so they were just typing. Or someone was doing hand over hand, and they were I'll use the animal. He's typing, and I'm controlling his hands. That's how it felt when I would type, when I was typing on the computer that day and other days. So I thought, that's really strange. That's weird. I will just put that away and not think about that. So I told him I had this anxiety, and I came in that Friday morning, and I was like, okay, yeah. He's like, so tell me about your anxiety. And I was like, I don't really know how to say it, and I don't really know what to say and how to say. And he was like, well, you came here because of this. I'm like, yeah, I know. And he's like, well, tell me what is the worst part, or what is different about your anxiety. I'm going to move back so I can do this. Move this forward so I can do this. Dramatic representation. He said, I was sitting up in the chair, and he said, what's different about your anxiety? And I said, well, it really feels like I can't breathe. And I probably went, And I couldn't breathe. I kind of was sitting and kind of fell forward or went forward like that and grabbed onto the desk and couldn't breathe for like 15 minutes. And I just could not catch my breath, and I was like, just really could not breathe. And I was screaming, I can't breathe, help, help, and much louder than that. And, he eventually told me, which is, I was having a panic attack. And it was the longest 15 minutes of my life. I felt like someone was trying to kill me. I felt like someone was trying to kill me or attack me intentionally on killing me, and that no one was it would not stop until someone stopped it, and that I was just completely going to die. Because something outside me was hurting me. I didn't think it felt like something outside me was hurting me, not inside myself or inside my body so much, but it felt like I was being attacked from the outside. So Jonathan didn't really do much. And ever since this happened, especially when I've been doing different research, I've seen videos of people helping people through panic attacks and being very active and saying, okay, hey, yo, you're not going to die, breathe, hold your hand, look at me, and things like that to really get them back into, reality and that they're not going to die. He didn't really do anything. He sat on his ball like normal and behind his desk, and he said it would pass, and he said it only felt like I couldn't breathe, and I was screaming, and he was like, well, if you're screaming this much, clearly you're getting a lot of air in. But he didn't really say anything else, and he came over when I told him I wanted him over there, and I kind of tapped the chair because I couldn't really talk. I'm like, come here, and he didn't get it at first. I'm like, here. And he came over, and I put my head on his lap because I felt dizzy and like I was gonna pass out. And the chair was like the two office chairs were in a really awkward position. I wish he had a couch. Oh look, the sirens. Yeah, another good perk of being here. And yeah, so it lasted like 15 minutes, and then eventually I came out of it. And then I had a few more during that meeting, and they weren't as bad because I knew that I wasn't dying and I wasn't being attacked from the outside. And we talked, and he's like, well, it's, you must have had a lot built up, and it was really all down to stress, and, you met with me, and that kind of got your brain thinking, okay, what do I want to talk about with him? And then things kind of spiraled, and I said, okay. But I said, I really didn't feel that stressed out before this all happened, but all right. So I eventually calmed down, and I was okay, and towards the end of the session, I also noticed after the panic attacks, I really couldn't get my words out. I couldn't get out what I wanted to say, and it was weird, but I was like, okay, this is just a side effect. I'll be fine. So I left the session, and I went on the tour, and it was really great. I'll say more about it in another video if people are interested, because that was a really good day. And I came home, and over the weekend, I felt really weird. I felt like, again, like my hands were detached from my body a lot. Like if I touched something, like it would happen when I touched like soap or something, or if I just touched like the blanket. If I touched the blanket, it would feel like it was the first time I ever touched that thing. And I was like, wow, it's like new. And everything just felt really new. And like I'd never, not everything, but some things at some moments felt like that. Like, oh my goodness, I've never touched that before. That's new, and wow. So it was just like spacey and obviously not really in reality, just a very little bit. It gets worse. But so that was over the weekend. And then I was like tensing up and twitching, and more than usual. I have a twitching in my shoulders, but this was a different type of thing. But so Monday we had scheduled a session because I might have another panic attack, and he wanted to quote unquote schedule it. Well, he scheduled more than he ever bargained for, because I came in, somehow I had decided to bring in this girly, Lexi, and him, which is Jonathan. And I decided to bring them in my slippers to the session, and I decided to sit on the floor, which actually makes more sense than you would think. I mean, well, the stuffed animals, maybe not, but again, he doesn't have an office. He has the 2 chairs, and then his desk, and then a therapy ball. None of which are really good for if you need to lie down because your body feels so bad, or because you're going to feel like you're going to fall over. So I brought them, and we sat on the floor, or lay on the floor, and I felt really spacey and weird, like I was floating out of my body. Oh, look, and there's Jess. This is Jess. Want to say hi to the YouTube world? I'm making a vlog.
Oh, hi.
You've been on my channel bunches of times. I'm starting again, so this is Jess. She's at Clayton with me. She hasn't changed a bit.
I would hope not.
Except I think you're prettier. I do.
Thank you.
You can do vlog. You can be a guest vlog about fostering cats. We'll talk about that in another one. But we have to go to meds, like I think I said. It probably would happen. I can't pause this, so I'm gonna have to do part 2. So part 1 is I get in the office. I feel really floaty. To be continued.
Ribbon. Webcam property page.
I amuse myself.
Stop button.